Just setting up the live stream. I won't be long, honest. Okay, it's a really warm evening in the UK, so I'm hoping the computer isn't going to cook me alive. We are at Gatwick Airport. We are running SayIntentions in the background, and it is doing traffic injection, which will be released to the public fairly soon, I believe. There's been lots and lots of announcements coming out of the Flight Sim Expo in the US. I was invited over, but I'm so busy at work, there's no way I could go. So we'll leave that running in the background. So all of the airplanes you see dotted around Gatwick here are the actual ones that have been injected by SayIntentions live. So that's going to be rather interesting to watch what happens with that. So we're going to have a play this evening with Virtual Flight Online, as well as the new Airbus A350 ultra long range variant. So I'm going to put the flight plan through a free flight in the Airline at Virtual Flight Online. So if you've not seen Virtual Flight Online, you can go and visit virtualflight.online, and you can sign up to the Airline completely for free. So I'm going to go and file this as a flight plan through the Airline with SimBrief, which it will help me do. So here's the plan. I'm going to delete this and generate a new one. So we're going from EGKK, which is Stansted, to Heka, which is Egypt, or Cairo, I should say, not just Egypt. And we've got all the basics in there. We can scroll down and we can generate a SimBrief flight plan, or that's the plan anyway. So this is really testing out the Airline as well while we're doing this, to see if it all works. So that gives us our operational flight plan here. If we go and run in the background now ACARS for Virtual Flight Online, and we open this out, we should find it. Yeah, it hasn't got the right plan. So what we do is we click ACARS here, and it will reload it, and it will load it with obviously a parameter which loads the correct flight plan. So if we go and look in here, we're Virtual Flight Online World, flight number 5, passenger charter from EGKK to Heka, and there's our flight plan. So we can say start flight, and it should connect to the sim, and it's doing so, and it's done it. So there's the beginnings of it recording in its black box what's going on with the aeroplane. So we can just minimize all of that out of the way. I'm going to come back possibly at the end and show you around Virtual Flight Online. It's a bit of a monster. So we're going to come back down, close all of these browser windows. Actually, let's go back to SimBrief. We should see at SimBrief our most recent flight plan is available to go open and look at. So EGKK to Heka, there it is, view the flight plan. So we get our usual view. So regardless of we've done this through the Airline, we can still go and look at it in SimBrief as per normal, which is good. Okay, so we're also going to go new flight in SayIntentions, and it will go and pick up therefore the SimBrief flight plan. So give it a few seconds to do so, and we're at London Gatwick. We'll leave ourselves on the radio check channel just for the moment to keep it nice and peaceful and quiet in the aeroplane. So we're at the Inibuilds version of Gatwick, funnily enough. So let's go and move the camera back round to our A350 900 ULR ultra long range, which came out today. Or it might have been yesterday, actually. So, full disclosure, Inibuilds have given me a copy of this aeroplane. So I'm showing you it. I was obviously already familiar with it. I've done several videos about the A350 in the past. It's a wonderful piece of kit in the simulator. So this is the first time looking at this specific variant. I'm guessing if I just slow the camera right down and we pop in through the window here, we can see our pilot here on the flight deck and have a look around the aeroplane. And we can do this with the normal views, but I'm just going to fly through the walls with the drone camera. And obviously, if you do this normally, all of the curtains and everything animate, which is quite lovely. But in the drone camera, we can go a bit faster. So we're just going to fly through the walls where we need to. And you can see everything's great. So, some of you may have seen the news today from SimBrief. From Inibuilds, that they released a set of real-world interiors for the A350s. And they originally released them with a price attached to them. And then they got such a kickback from the community that they have now released them for free. So people, because they weren't aeroplanes, even though they require, the amount of work that goes into this is just incredible. I don't think anybody who's not involved in software development has any clue really of how difficult and how much attention to detail goes into these things, how much effort. So I know I'm biased because I am a software developer. So I see the work required to do this stuff, and it is just incredible, really. But yeah, so Inibuilds, they got such a big backlash from trying to charge for the insides of an aeroplane, obviously to pay off the work that's been invested in doing it, that they've had to go and release them for free now. Just so because the mob descended upon them across the internet, which I think is awful, really, but there we go. That's the world we live in. Anyway, we're going to have a look at the A350-900 ULR, or ultra long range, this evening. So I filed with SimBrief. We need to go and get some power on in the aeroplane. So before we do so, I need to go into the settings of Flight Simulator, and I'm guessing, because this is a new variant that I've not seen before, the controls won't be correct. So you're going to see a bug that exists in Sim Update 2. I am not running the beta of Sim Update 3. Some are saying, do I know how to toggle the slides? Yes, I'm not going to, because then I'd have to go back out of the sim and come back in again to get rid of them. Yeah, this is a bug in the simulator where it polls all of your controllers, and it takes about 5 or 6 seconds to do so every time you click on anything in the control configurator, which is a nightmare. Hopefully Sim Update 3 will address this. So apologies for not doing this in advance. I'd completely forgotten about this. So what we're going to do is go and just select the 2-engine control profile for the quadrants. So I'm just having to flick through them. We have a 5 or 6 second delay every time I click on a button, sometimes longer than that. Unfortunately, I've got a number of profiles because there are so many airplanes that don't adhere to any kind of logical control configuration. You end up with lots and lots of control profiles. And yes, I am calling out the airplanes that have been appearing on here. It's funny, I've been thinking about buying a honeycomb Alpha and Bravo yoke and throttle quadrant, but the thought of having to reprogram controls is the major thing stopping me from doing it. So I'm just having to wait every time now for 5 or 6 seconds, and there's probably about 10 of these I have to flick through to get to the controls that I want. So I'm looking for basic 2-engine. It's frustrating, isn't it? So if anybody wants to email Asobo and ask them to please go and put some automated user testing in place using Playwright or something, I'll go and do it for them if they want to hire the company I work for. And we could sort all of this, and we could have automated testing on every build of the software. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Not during this, because you'll all fall asleep standing up if I get on my high horse about software development techniques, tools, and procedures and things. So basic 2-engine, normal axis, save and back. And back into the simulator. So, having done that, we need to get this up and running, don't we? So we can go and configure things. Shift and 4 takes us overhead. And we're going to go and turn the batteries on. We'll wait for all of the lights to stop flashing. They do this, don't worry, it's not a fault. It's part of their normal procedure. And then we're going to go and turn on external power. And you'll start to hear the aeroplane coming alive around us. I'm just going to go and check the volume levels to see that you hear the things I'm hearing. Yep, that's good. You are hearing them. Okay, so if we come further down, we're going to go and put the strobe is already on auto. Nav and logo goes to auto. I'm just going to check that is actually auto. Yes, it is. Master switch for the APU goes to on. And the start switch for the APU goes to on. I'm following my own checklist for this, by the way. You can get a copy of it from kofi.com/John Beckett. I'll put a link. I'll pin a link to the video later. I should have really done it already. I'm not very organised. So, oxygen supply, go and put the crew supply on. Emergency exit lights go to armed. No smoking goes to auto. We'll put all of these to auto right now. That's fine. And then the ADIRs. So if we zoom out slightly, scroll up, and we're going to go and turn all of the inertial reference systems to on to give them time. I think I might have it set to... that's a good question. This is a new variant, therefore it's probably going to do it in real time. You can configure it through the tablet. So shift and space comes down into the cockpit, and we're going to go look at this tablet down here, or tablet, the screen inside the aircraft. So this aircraft doesn't have a tablet, it has this screen. So we go to options, and we can go to third party, and we can make sure our SimBrief user ID is already in here. That's good. We've got Navigraph. Switching Navigraph and updating Navigraph will clear FMS data. That's good to know. Okay, so we're going to go and connect Navigraph to the aeroplane. So as you can see, I have not done anything with this aeroplane in advance. So you're seeing the fresh install story. So I'm just connecting on my phone using the 2D barcode. And I'm approving and allowing the simulator to talk to Navigraph. So that gives us the opportunity to download the Navigraph data into the aeroplane, which I'm going to do. And you can see it downloading. So it's fetching the navigation database into the airplane's flight management systems. Navigraph, nav data updated. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so then we go to the flight ops menu. So you can see that here at the bottom now. If we can just go click on it, and then we can do a SimBrief import. So I have to remember how to do this. So we go to flight ops STS, and then SimBrief import, and that will pull our flight plan from EGKK to Heka, which is Cairo. And then we're off to the races basically. So load sheet, we're going to go and do a SimBrief import, and that will load our load sheet from SimBrief. So it's gone and fetched the fuel. Interestingly, we haven't got any passengers. What's happened to the passengers? So, set 0 fuel weight. Oh, here we go. They're coming in now. And set the fuel. And do an instant refuel. So it says loading fuel, and it says loading fuel complete, so we've cut some time there. So you can see how much fuel this can carry versus how much we're going to need to get to Cairo. It's quite impressive. So we've done that. Then we go to the takeoff performance page, and then we select the sync SimBrief again. So sync SimBrief up here, and then at the bottom left we click sync to go and get the current weather, and then we select compute, and it calculates our takeoff parameters, and we can then send that to the flight management system. Does it give us a confirmation of that? I don't think it does. Okay, so then straight over then into the middle of the aeroplane with shift and 5 to the multi-purpose control and display unit, or MCDU, and we're going to say, do we need to clear any information? We don't, do we? It seems quite happy. So we're going to go and press the init button. And then we're going to do a company flight plan request, which is here. And it's saying it's received the company flight plan, so this is pulling from SimBrief. And then we can insert it into the aeroplane, and here it comes. So I'm just following my own instructions here, my own written instructions. Okay, so then we can say clear info. So it's saying airport not in database, we can not worry about that. So then we can go to IRS init. Oh no, do we need to do this? I don't think so. Return. So we can go to departure. And then we're going to go and refer to SimBrief. So we're taking off runway 26 left and doing the MIM-F1M standard instrument departure. So 26 left, MIM-F1M. 26 left and MIM-F1M. Okay, so let me show the temporary flight plan and we insert that in. So then we're going to do fuel and load information. So we can go back to press the init button and press fuel and load. And refer to the load sheet on the left screen. So we're going to look over here and we're going to fill the numbers in. So we're going to go to the load sheet. And we need the zero fuel weight, which is 160.5. So in here we should be able to use the keyboard, one or not. And then there's a trick to this and I can't remember how it works to use the keyboard in here. So I'm just going to use the numbers down here, 160.5. Oh no, backspace, there it is, 160.5, enter. The zero fuel weight center of gravity next, which is there, it's 28.76, so 28.7 we'll call it. So go in here, 28.7. I'm probably thinking of a different aeroplane that has the ability to use the keyboard. The block fuel. So we've got fuel load 27.6 tons. Or 27.7. So block 27.7. Press enter. Number of passengers. We have got 133. Oh no, sorry, 229 passengers out of 100. That makes no sense. 229 anyway. That didn't make an awful lot of sense that we were seeing on the screen up there. And enter. Okay, so we've got the basic fields filled out. So then we can go to the takeoff performance data. So we press init once again and we go to takeoff performance. And we've got the numbers here, so we can just say confirm and it will copy them in because we sent them over from the FMS earlier. We can do a company takeoff request, but we've got the data already. Yeah, so flaps 1, that's important to know. 29.4%, that's fine. Do we have any trim numbers around here anywhere? I can't see anything, but anyway. Return. So you keep coming back to the init page basically, and it's got the menu at the bottom left for everything you need to do. So we've done the takeoff performance data. So then we're going to go over to the flight plan. So press F plan, and we're just going to skip down through it and look for any discontinuities. We're looking pretty good actually. There's a discontinuity just before we get to Hecka. That's because we haven't set the destination yet. So if we go and select Hecka, and let's go and look and see what we've got planned in. CVO, then direct to Hecka, runway 23 left. So we haven't got a standard terminal arrival route. We're just going straight into runway 23 left. So the approach will be ILS for 23 left with no via or star, but we know we're coming in from CV0, and yeah, it would be nice to have a chart, but we'll have a look. Via CV01, and so no, we're not going to do a via. Okay, so we'll just do put that temporary, insert it, and we'll go and have a flick down through and see if we've got any discontinuity, so where that joined on, and there it is, look. So we can just select the discontinuity and delete it out of the flight plan. So there's Hecate there. This is after the end of the flight plan, so we can get rid of that one as well. Actually, no, we can't, because there's a manual there. So we'll delete that. It's put some safeguards in for go-arounds, kind of like an end point on the flight plan to submit a go-around into it. So we're just going to get rid of those bits. So if we go back into flight plan, we insert what we've done so far and have a look down through it again. You'll see just after landing it's got this 870 line, so we'll go in here and delete it. Okay, and then put that change in. If you want to get back to the top, you just press flight plan and we're back up to the top of the flight plan, and it's recalculated all the numbers for VNAV, done it all for us. Very good. So back to the center console, we're going to configure the radios as required. So we need to talk to the ground in a moment, so I think we can just turn UHF1 on, which will allow us to use the radios, and we can confirm that by tuning ATIS via SayIntentions.
Kilo Mike, contact
XCAV OK. Temperature 21.
So you'll notice as soon as we turn the radio on, we started picking things up.
QNH 1025.
So we've got information
Density
Zulu, that's the things we
600
really
feet.
needed to know. So we'll go back to
Arriving
radio check for the moment. So information Zulu. So we're going to go and now and call clearance at Gatwick and get our clearance to Cairo. We are virtual 01 this evening. Okay. Gatwick clearance, virtual 01, requesting clearance to Cairo with information Zulu.
One second while I grab the paperwork.
I have to remember how to operate the MCDU now to go and set up our...
Virtual 001. Information
so we'll have to
Zulu
copy
is
this
correct.
back.
Cleared to Cairo via the MIMF1 Mike departure runway 26 left. Initial climb to 6,000 feet. Departure on 121.23. Squawk 5754.
Cleared to Cairo via the MIMF1 Mike departure. Departure runway 26 left. Initial climb 6,000 feet. Departure on 121.23. Squawk 5754. Virtual 001. So it'll come back now saying read back correct, hopefully.
Virtual 001. Read back correct. Ground will be on 121.805.
Okay, so we've got all our information we need to go and start programming the aeroplane up. So we're going to press the serve button and let's go and put the transponder straight in. So it was transponder number 5754. So 5754 and press enter. And then the rest of it is to do with programming, yeah, the 6,000 feet into the mode control panel, or FGMC as it's called on the Airbuses. So 6,000 feet. We'll leave that alone for the moment, and we're going to go back to the written list. So I keep talking about this written list. For anybody that's not seen one of my videos before, I'm going to go and show you them. So I am following a handwritten list to start up the A350, and I am rolling down through
Gatwick
this.
clearance, good afternoon. TBM, November 851 Tango Bravo, over at the signature, looking to pick up my IFR, please.
I'm just going to turn off the radio so we can talk. I've just put it on the radio check channel. So I'm going down through this, following all of my own written instructions, basically to get the airplane ready, which is great. So we've just configured the radios, we haven't set the QNH, that's our next thing to do. So we come back at the airplane and we go comma, and you can see the altimeters have all corrected themselves. Nice shortcut there in the simulator. So do I get stuttering? Someone, Chris Watkinson in the live stream comments has said, do I get stuttering when I fly from Heathrow? I haven't flown from Heathrow in the A350 for a very, very long time, so I don't know. Where were we? So we've just set the altimeters. So next is the FTCP. We set the initial climb altitude, which we've already done. We set the initial auto throttle mode. So let's go and have a look at what we've got over here. So we've got speed. It's all going to be on managed mode, isn't it? So we are going to go and put the not landing system. Yeah, we don't have to do anything in this aeroplane for the vertical speed. It's going to go with the climb mode following the constraints of the flight plan. So if you come and look in the flight plan, it's going to be doing these heights and these speeds, or attempting to. We do want flaps 1, but there's no point doing it yet because we haven't got the engines running, so we haven't got hydraulics. Okay, so we've set the initial climb altitude. So overhead panel, shift and 4. We're going to go and put the seat belts to on or up. It's getting darker, isn't it? We need to go and put the dome lighting on. Seatbelts to on. So that's a really good question. Where is the dome light switch in the Airbus A350? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I imagine it's going to be down here. Floodlight. There we go. Dome light. And that should be enough for us to just see what we're doing. It's getting dark in a hurry outside, isn't it? It's an absolutely roasting night in the UK this evening. So I've got live weather on. So we've set our initial climb altitude. We need to do the seat belts, which we've just done. And the external power can come off. It could have come off some time ago, but because we're progressing so slowly through the checklist, it doesn't matter. And we're going to do pushback. So we are going to come back down into the cockpit. I'm using a high fidelity version of Gatwick, so that's why the frame rate appears quite poor from time to time. So we're going to go and choose the ground frequency 121805. So clicking on this in SayIntentions is changing the radio frequency for me. It's one of the really nice things it does. And we're going to talk to ground now and request a pushback and engine start. Before we do that, should we go and open up Navigraph, because it'll be really handy for taxi instructions in a few minutes. So just unload what I had in Navigraph, import it from SimBrief. There we go, EGKK to Heka. And there's our basic flight plan. The reason I'm doing this is it gives me a plate diagram with taxi labels. Now, we're taking off on runway 26 left, so we're heading west. So we'll be taking off here. The 26 right is the smaller runway at Gatwick is never used. Okay, there's a long story behind that. You can search it up on YouTube yourself and go and read about it or listen about it. We'll be going 26 left, so we'll have a taxi from where we are around the building, probably Quebec, Juliet, Mike maybe, or maybe they'll come down November or Papa, who knows. We'll find out in a moment. So I'm just keying the microphone to make sure I've got something there. So Gatwick ground, virtual 001 requesting pushback and engine start.
Virtual 001, pushback and engine start approved. Face east.
So when pushback and engine start approved, face east, virtual 001. So I'm just repeating back so they know I've heard it. So we need to face that way. So they're going to send us under the bridge. So that our tail needs to go to the right when we push back. So I'm not sure if we can push back through here. Flight options, ground. Oh, we can. Excellent. So we'll remove the chocks. We turned off the GPU some time ago. And can we just press go in here after pushback started? So it's the tractor. Yeah, the tractor's moving.
Short, runway 261.
So
Ready.
I haven't come off the brakes yet.
EasyJet 28, contact tower on 134.23 for departure.
So our tail needs to go to our right because looks like we're going to go under the bridge.
Easy 14 Juliet Yankee, I require taxi to gate.
And we're on our way already, which is interesting because I had the parking brake on.
105, not runway.
And it's going the wrong way. So we want the tail to go to the right, remember? Oh, sorry, that is the right way, sorry. Yeah, we're going to be going that way. How do I deploy slides and the head-up display? If you can tell me, that would be great. So the head-up display is up here. You just click on it, don't you? Is there not a click spot up here to make it fall down? I'm not sure where the click spot is, mind you. Not in the dark, anyway. So, will this stop the pushback, or do we need to stop it? In fact, the tractor's leaving us. We're rolling under our own weight. So I'm going to apply the parking brake. No, this is a bit flaky, isn't it? So we're going to stop the pushback. It kept doing it regardless. Always fun when things like that happen. Okay, prepare for engine start. So shift and 4 takes us overhead. I'm going to go and put the beacon lights on to warn anybody near the aeroplane that the engines are about to wind up. We're going to go and put the fuel pumps on. These are really boost pumps. The engines can start without them. APU bleed goes to on, which is right in the middle. And then shift and 3 will bring us down. So yeah, let's just do this from this console. So we're going to go and turn the ignition mode to start. I've already got the parking brake on, so we won't get any movement. And we're going to advance the engine start switch on engine number 2. Now, something I haven't done is configure the controls. So let's go and have a little look at this. Options. Equipment, that's fine. Simulation, that's fine. Where is the calibration? There we go, throttle calibration. I haven't done this.
Skyway 400, requesting IFR clearance to Edinburgh, information uniform on board.
So the easy way to find out...
1 second while I grab the paperwork.
Yeah, it looks like it's fine.
Speedbird 2231, request pushback.
Speedbird 2231, cleared for push and start.
So engine's
Pushback
coming up.
approved. Speedbird
It's fully
2231.
automatic on the Airbus. So it's saying the transponder is on standby, so we'll go and sort that out while it's warming the engines or getting the engine up and running. So we've got the squawk here, we're in standby. So we're going to go and turn it to auto. So we can more or less be led by this now, but I'm not going to be entirely led by it. Okay, so engine is up and running, and we can now start the engine number 1. And I know if someone's going to comment and say, oh, Airbuses start engine number 1 first these days, you've got that wrong. Yeah, I did. And you can go and take your clipboard away now and write fail on it. And you can be super happy with yourself. And you can say, I told him. I saw a fantastic GIF, or GIF, sorry, that somebody sent me a few weeks back after they had rather too much to drink.
Speedbird 2231, taxi to runway 26 left via November Bravo.
They sent me a GIF of them,
26 left
of
via
a man
November.
stood on
Bravo
a chair,
Speedbird 2231.
swinging an axe at the chair they were stood on, with the caption, "I'll show me." I just thought that was wonderful. Okay, so engines are coming up. So you'll see this will suddenly shoot up in a moment. There it goes. avail. So engines are running, and we can now turn back to norm on the engine start mode. So APU bleed can go to off. The APU itself can come off. And you can see here, destination estimated fuel on block. We've been sat here for so long, we've actually used more fuel than we should have, but we're not going to worry too much. It's saying the predictive wind shear is not configured. I'm going to follow my instructions.
Copied information,
So
Victor.
tell me where to
Clear
look.
to Edinburgh via the Lambourne 6 departure. Departure runway 26 left, initial climb to 6,000 feet. Departure on 133.94. Squawk
Auto
3454.
So we need to go
Speedbird 117.
here and turn the auto brake on to. So it's come up with the
Speedbird
takeoff checklist.
117,
Look.
read back correct. Speedbird 117,
So we're going to go
contact
the
tower
ground
on
spoilers
124.23.
as well. We're just going through a laundry list of things to do, basically.
Tower on 124.23. Speedbird 117.
Ground spoilers are armed. Flaps need to go to takeoff now. So now we have the engines running, we'll have hydraulic power. So the flaps should animate. There we go. You can see the status of them
Speedbird
moving.
2231, contact tower on 118.105.
We can go and set the nose light to taxi.
Speedbird 2231.
And we've just got the WXR weather PWS off. So I forget where the switch is for this. I can never remember all these things. So it's in serve probably, isn't it? So we got transponder, tours is on. There we go. So it's just destination estimated fuel on block is wrong at the moment. We're not going to pay too much attention to that. So if you did want to worry about it, you can go in and change it within the performance calculations. So I think it's in destination EFOB. Where is it? Approach. I can never remember this stuff. Can anybody remember in the... Is it in it? It's not in it, is it? The EFOB number? I thought it was in the performance data. Fuel and load. Min fuel at destination 4 tons. There we go. So if I put 1 in there, which is, I know, quite serious, the warning will probably go out, or maybe it won't. It's got the there's an EFOB number somewhere.
November 45 Lima request IFR
I
clearance.
can't remember for the life of me where it is.
I'll grab that clearance. Give me just a minute.
Can anybody remember this? Climb, cruise, destination. Where's the EFOB number? I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world. We just might be a little bit light when we get to the other end. So it's saying check. So if we clear that,
Ground EV68 Charlie
parking
Papa,
brake is
taxi
on at the
departure.
moment. We haven't done the takeoff confidence test. We won't be doing that until we actually get to
cross
the
runway 26 left, then Zulu Mike.
Okay,
Juliet, cross runway 26 left and Zulu Mike, easy 68 Charlie Papa.
so we are looking along Lima. Okay, Gatwick ground, virtual 001, requesting taxi to runway 26 left. So I imagine it's going to be Lima it going to be Mike, maybe? Or Kilo? Are they going to answer us? Do they hear us? Gatwick ground, virtual 001, requesting taxi, runway 26 left.
Virtual 001, taxi to runway 26 left via Lima Papa Bravo.
Papa Bravo, so we go straight ahead. Taxi 26 left via Lima Papa Bravo, virtual 001. Okay, off we go. I might turn the sound down a bit, hey? So you can hear me over the top of the aeroplane rumbling away. I didn't realise it was that loud. Sorry, everybody. So, we're looking for Lima. Can we see it?
Good morning. Skyways 1148, stand 90.
That's Papa.
With Mike, request push and engine
I'm just going to check this.
Skyways 1148, push and engine
that's
start
fine.
approved, face southeast.
So we're on Lima and we're turning into Papa now. Okay.
Skyways 1148.
Did we turn the taxi light on? Yeah, we did. It's just not tremendously bright, that's all. So EFOB is on the fuel load. Is that in... It'll be in here though somewhere, won't it? Surely we don't do it here. Because that's not a configurable parameter. It'll be somewhere in here. I'll have a look in a moment. So this is the runway. And we'll hold short. We'll get handed off to tower in a moment.
Virtual 001,
there we go.
Contact tower on 124.23.
So, runway ahead. Take care. It's almost like he's worried about me. Contacting tower 124.23, virtual 001, thank you. Gatwick Tower, virtual 001, holding short, runway 26 left.
Virtual 01 Heavy, London Gatwick Airport Tower, runway 26 left, wind 210 at 6, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 26 left, virtual 001, thank you. Okay, let's get this onto the runway. So there is a bone of contention here that many people will tell you that pilots don't have to say thank you. You just, you repeat the instruction, you get on with it. But I think there is room for, now and again, for a little bit of common courtesy. So we're just pulling the airplane round onto the runway.
8678, contact departure on 121.23.
Contact departure 121.23.
Okay, just put the parking brake on for a moment. So landing lights go on, strobes go on, and I think... So we go back into the survey, service button. I'm not sure what serve actually stands for. We've got TARA mode, normal, on. I'm just checking all the modes. So it should all be good actually. So we now do our takeoff config test. So you can see it's the last thing left that's blue. And there's a little button down here that says takeoff config. And you press it, and it goes green. If you've configured the airplane and done everything. So let's go and have a little look. So we've got an immediate right turn. So we're not going to have much room for, or much wiggle room, as they say. We're on our way. So we're looking at the primary flight display, looking for the speed markers for the rotate. We're about to come through them and gently rotate, no more than 3 degrees a second to avoid a tail strike. Gear up. Autopilot can come on. Flaps can come up. Leave it in toga for a few moments. And back to climb mode on the throttles.
Virtual 001, contact departure on 121.23.
Contacting departure 121.23, virtual 001. I've been to so many call signs recently. Departures, virtual 001 with you, just departing runway 26 left on the planned departure as filed for Cairo. We could have told them the actual departure.
London control identified. Climb flight level 060, direct D-Link 31.
Climbing flight level 060 on flight plan as filed, virtual 001. So it's the Detling VOR waypoints they're talking about. So if we go and have a look at that here, you'll see where we're going. So we're this little aeroplane here, and we're following out towards Acorn, and then the Dover VOR. That's interesting. There's Detling over there, look. Climbing flight level 210, virtual 073. Virtual 001, sorry.
Virtual 001, no problem.
So they've told us to go for the altitude on climb out, so we're doing an open climb. We don't follow the constraints on climb out. And the rules for that vary around the world. So we no longer need the ground spoilers armed, because we didn't have to go and cancel the takeoff. Should we have a look from outside now? Okay, so we've now got basically 3 hours of babysitting the aeroplane. Or 2.5. So let's go and see if we can find that EFOB setting that I couldn't find a moment ago when I was scratching around in the system. This has only got a flight cruise level of 230. What did it say in the Simbury flight plan? 230. Oh my word, that's low. That's going to be a problem. Should we ask for a higher altitude? Although it might not suit the flight plan. That came out of Simbury, didn't it? Flying at 230. That's low. I wonder why that is. To do with the weather, maybe? Fuel and load. So let's put in, just for a bit of fun here, 0.
Virtual 001, climb flight level 230.
Oh, it's on the other side, isn't it?
843, London control, contact Heathrow radar on 125.625.
Contact
it's got rid of EFOB.
On 125.625.
They talked to us, didn't they? Climbing flight level 230, virtual 001.
Easy 236, London control cleared, ITA 1 Bravo, arrival into Bristol.
Okay, so I have some time now, so I can actually catch up with the live stream comments. So we have got 0 wiggle room for fuel. But having said that, look, we're heading east and we've got the wind behind us at the moment. Let's have a look at winds aloft and see if we're actually going to be okay. So if we zoom out on the map, whoa, look at all those lines. Oh, that's the AI aircraft, isn't it? That's the ones that are being injected by SayIntentions. So if we go and put the wind barbs on, wind barbs at cruise altitude, we have got a tailwind most of the way. That may save our bacon. That's good to know. It's not a very strong tailwind, but it's a tailwind nonetheless. So if we hover over this at 25,000 feet, it's 40 knots. Over Italy anyway. At this part of the world, over here, at 25,000 feet, it's 12 knots. But it's better than nothing. I may go and ask to get a much more efficient flight plan to climb to 36,000 feet. I'm not on VATSIM, this is using SayIntentions, just reading the comments there from Gregorio Ruiz. So yeah, this is using SayIntentions, nothing to do with VATSIM. So we're coming up to 11,000 feet, so we do need to go and turn the landing lights off. The taxi light should have come off as well. We went through barometric pressure a while ago, which is why it's flashing. Let's go and put this to standard on both sides. My bad. So let's go and ask the controller if we can actually go up to 36,000 feet, because it'll be a lot more efficient up there. Departures, virtual 001 requesting climb to flight level 360 instead of our planned altitude.
Virtual 001, climb flight level 360.
Climbing flight level 360, virtual 001, thank you. So we'll just do an open climb straight to 36,000 feet, and it will be a lot more efficient up there. So we'll save, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but we will save a lot of fuel. Yeah, I've seen that as well. So Saltgrate is saying flight level 410 at Dover. I want to go higher straight away because we were so close to the limit on fuel. Otherwise we end up tootling along out towards Dover at a silly low altitude, and it's annoying. So we'll probably get vectored higher later on. We'll see. So what we're talking about here, I can show it on, this will be the easiest to read. If we go and import from SimBrief. Create flight plan, don't save what I've got. So there's the actual flight plan. And if you look in here, you will see the altitude. No, it's saying 25,000 all the way there, look. That's interesting. But then if we go and look on SimBrief, we should see 410. There it is. Look at Dover. So that's interesting that that hasn't been picked up by Little Nav Map. Little Nav Map's usually pretty good at that, and it hasn't. It's got the restriction in there, but it hasn't got the instruction to get to the altitude. Interesting. Anyway, so there it was. So following Dover, we would have had a climb to 410. We're not waiting for that. Some of these SIDs around the UK are a bit frustrating, that they'll make you hang on at low altitude for a very long time until you actually start climbing. But given it's at night, we should be okay. Should we have a look around and see if we can see any lights blinking around us in the night? Can't see too many. Must be quite a quiet evening. If we go and look in here and turn on, there they all are, the nearby aircraft anyway. So there should be somebody at about our 10 or 11 o'clock. I suppose we can't see their lights. Unless they're way up there, of course. What's their altitude? 23,000 feet. No, they're about the same height as us. Interesting. Shall we, coming up through 16,000 feet, we're stable climb now. Let's go and turn the seatbelt sign off and let people get up and wander about. For a bit of fun along the way, shall we turn on the cabin announcers? So on the intercom on channel 2 we'll have the cabin crew, and we'll choose who should we go for? Victoria from Britain. Hi Victoria, the passengers can get up and move around now.
Thank you, Captain. I shall inform the passengers that they may now get up and move around.
What, gonna do, dance? Can we have some coffee in the flight deck, please?
Certainly, Captain. I shall arrange for some coffee to be brought to the flight deck promptly.
So what we're also going to do, I think I've got on Say Intentions, I'll show you this. I've never shown this. Or I may have done it once or twice. We've got a co-pilot, Amanda Sorsby, in the cockpit. Hi Amanda, can you take over radio comms for the rest of the flight, please?
Sure, I'll handle the comms from here.
There we go. So anytime we need to talk to ATC now, Amanda will talk to them. I don't think she can fly the plane. That would be quite amusing, wouldn't it? She can only talk to us. So flaps are up, gear is up, screen over here is blank, which is a good sign. And we've got the hybrid display, which shows
Tango Bravo, climb flight level 180.
Shows everything like a summary. So you've got the environmental control system here. You've got the fuel condition. And you can actually see, if you go look on the flight plan page. So if we go and drop this down, we can show the EFOB, estimated fuel on block. So you can see the burn down on the way through the route. We're going to be cutting it fairly close. So by the time we get to the destination, that's going to be, yeah, that's not accurate, by the way, but it's going to be basically a couple of tons of fuel left. Based on current data. Okay. So we've just got a long way to go now. And hopefully we'll stay at the same altitude more or less throughout. Let's go and increase the range on the navigation display. So we just come through Dover. Shall we go and ask London Control for climb to 410 then? London Control, virtual 001, requesting climb to flight level 410. Oh, the sim's just frozen.
Virtual 001, climb flight level 410.
Why has the sim frozen?
410, virtual 01.
Oh no, it's woken up again. So we'll do open climb, and then we are in on track for what we originally agreed, which was flight level 410, 486 knots. So you can do, we're doing 457 ground speed at the moment, 425 true airspeed. Target of flight level 410, and we're on our way up there. We're at 22,000 feet and climbing. So we're doing okay. Throttles are on the climb detent, which allows the auto throttle to work. We're in TARA mode on the TCAS. So I'm just being paranoid about everything now. Are there other options for nav charts? Yes, there are. So there's free ones. If you go to planner. Oops, if I can even type it correctly, planner.flightsimulator.com in your browser, then you get the one that comes with the sim. And so say we want the route that we're doing today. We're going to go and steal it from Little Nav Map. So flight plan, copy the route. And we're going to say it's IFR. And we're going to go and paste this in here. So this is what came out of SimBrief. I'll leave that in there. That's the speed and initial altitude. So notice that was wrong though. So this had a flight level 410. So we'll put that in here and save it. So it's put it into the planner. So this will actually work.
001, contact Brussels control on 125.78.
Gatwick departure, good evening, November 851 Tango Bravo with you at flight level 033.
Now remember, my co-pilot should do this for me.
060 outbound for Birmingham.
Let's see what she does.
Contacting Brussels
Okay, she was clipped off, but she said she was doing it.
Virtual 01, evening. Climbing through flight level 240 for flight level 410.
Virtual 01, Brussels control identified. Good evening.
There we go. So she's doing all the talking for us. So I don't have to do anything. So my pilot can go and get his favourite sandwich from the trolley and go and say hello to the passengers. So as I was saying, we've got the this is the built-in planner that comes with the simulator. It's on the web. It's the same thing you see in the tablet in the airplane. So if you press tab and go into here, it's this. Yeah. So you can. So within here, I could get that route and I can save it. So I can click Save Flight Plan, and we could say EGKK to Hecka. We can call it whatever we want. We don't have to call it this. And save new plan. So we've done our bit in here. Where this is quite nice, it has got some charts, but I think it might only have particular airports. We can see a... where are we? I can never remember how this works. IFRs, that's the key for switching things on and off in here. I thought it had charts as well, but maybe I was wrong. This is actually based on Lufthansa's real training systems. So there's your, like a minimized version of an operational flight plan is in here. It's not as good as SimBriefs. Oh, you can have charts. There we go, Inibuilds. So, if we look in here, airport facility chart, we can preview it. So yes, it has got charts. And they're pretty good. So if you notice when you look down the bottom, Lufthansa Systems. So this has all been licensed by Asobo from Lufthansa. But it's just like the Navigraph charts. It's just a different way of using it. And it's free. It doesn't cover as many airports as Navigraph. It only covers basically, or usually, the international airports. But it's good enough. So if we go and look at Cairo at the other end, There's the
Ryanair
chart.
for Papa Yankee.
It's pretty cool,
Contact
isn't it?
London Control on 135.425.
And we can switch that to a daytime view, which is a bit neater. That's really nice the way it lays out the runway details, isn't it?
Ryanair for Papa Yankee.
Command 3 Alpha Zulu Heavy, beginning our descent, flight level 770.
So if we weren't sure what we were looking for, we can go and search for Heka, for example, and it will find the charts for Heka for us that it has. It only has those ones. Those are the charts it has. But yeah, you can put your route in, and then obviously we saved our route. So within here, within the tablet in the aeroplane, and this tablet is here in all aeroplanes in the sim. You can just press tab to open it up. You can then go and load from the web. There's our flight plan, so we download it into the tablet and you'll see the flight plan appear underneath the aeroplane. There it is, look. It works nicely, doesn't it? So then you don't get to see, oh, you do get to see the charts in here as well. So you can see them. Yeah? There you go. So yes, Navigraph is a nice option and it's very pretty, and it really depends what you're used to. Navigraph shows you Jeppesen charts essentially. You can see that it's got the branding up there, and it's got usually a big sign on them all in Navigraph saying not intended for navigational use. Yeah, that's interesting because they are almost identical. Like, you know, you'd have to be hard pressed to see any differences whatsoever. We can change the view. Obviously, Navigraph has got all sorts of things it can do, and it's, as you can see, it's very smooth. We can turn on weather layers and things like that, but we can in here as well, I believe. Or if we can't do it there, we can certainly do it on the web. So if we come back to the route plan and close this view of a diagram, it doesn't show you where you are on here, which is a bit of a shame. But you can switch out, you know, the options you want to see. So cloud coverage. Don't know how it's going to do this. There's obviously none because it's the it's just loaded it in. Look, there was a little bit of shading. Is it raining anywhere? Probably not. Out there it is, and across Eastern Europe it's raining. But you can do the same thing in Navigraph,
descending flight level 250,
where you can open the weather up and you can show it at different flight levels even though. So I'm looking here at the cloud levels, or radar I should say. So I could look at 410. You can see it's how quick it is at doing it. So it's horses for courses really. But this is the Lufthansa system, essentially. It's very good, it does the same job. So while we've been doing all of this, in the background, ACARS has been recording what we've been doing. And there we are on ACARS, following the flight plan that was given to us. So we're 38 minutes in by the look of it. And we just leave that running. At the end of the flight, so I can go and show you some of this stuff now, can't I? I know we've got some time. If I open this up alongside and I go to airline.virtualflight.online, free to join by the way, we can see ourselves, there we are. And we can see on the map, if we zoom in, there's our little aeroplane. So something else I've been playing with recently is transmitter. I don't think I've got this set up actually. I think I'll have to disconnect it and put in I'll disconnect it again. Let's go and put in who we actually are. So we are VFA001 connect. So what is this? This is a transmitter, which I am testing. I'm not going to use it on this flight properly, but you can see There we are on the map. Yeah, you can see where I changed signal. It knows. But the big, huge advantage now with transmitter is it never had this before, is you can move the labels around in the radar. So if there's a whole group of you flying using transmitter, you'll see them all on the map, and you can move the labels around. That one will disappear after about a minute of no reports. So yeah, I've been busy. So it's a simulated radar display. Anyway, outside of that, we've got Virtual Flight Online, which is tracking our flights. We can see I'm one of the pilots who's in the air right now. There's a couple of other people flying. I've been busy this week because I've been adding tours to the airline and reconfiguring the fleet. So the fleet of aircraft are now aligned with the airlines. So within the system there are several airlines. There's the Business, Express, Flying Club, Historic, Transport and World. They roughly align with types of aeroplanes. You can see how many different aircraft types are in each airline. And there's a rank structure around that. So actually if we go and show you the ranks,
Transavia 33 Bravo,
there they are.
flight level 400.
So based on the number of hours you have filed, you go up the rank structure, and the ranks open up sub-fleets of aircraft. So each of these are related to different groups of ranks. So then the longer you fly, the more airplanes you get to fly and the more tours you can do, because the tours are aligned to the aircraft types as well. So we've got Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, South America. We've now got Himalayas, Pyrenees and Alps tour, the Andes. We've now got France, Germany, Italy, Norway, Spain, the UK, Australia, Canada and the Mediterranean, and a world tour with the big jets. So just to give you an example, if we go and look in the Mediterranean tour, there are the legs of the tour. So for any one of those legs we could open it up and we could generate a Simbury flight plan, load it into ACARS, and we're off to the races. But you can see there they are all now limited to groups of aircraft. It's not a free for all anymore. So there we go. The airline is changing shape slowly to become a little bit more thoughtful.
Control Scandinavian 837, request sent over to Paris approach.
So
126.43 Scandinavian 837, goodbye.
So this shows our last destination that we landed at. It shows you the weather where you've most recently landed. So if you were doing a tour, you'd have the weather of where you actually are. You can see where all of the airplanes are at the moment in the fleet. They're all over the world. You can also do tricks like I'm just trying to think how to do this to give you a good idea of it. So if we go to a tour and open up, say, the Andes tour, and go and show the tour map, we can change the map to make a bit more sense. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to close that then. So if we show, yeah, we've got the National Geographic maps there. So you can see each of the legs. So you can obviously go and hover over one of those legs and find out more about it, where it's going from and to, so you see a nice map. If you want to see more about an airport, you can just click on it and it'll tell you all about the airport. You can get live weather that's happening right now at the airport. You can get any notices to airmen, there aren't any at the moment for that one. And you can see the inbound and outbound flights that go from that airport. So it's quite cool, isn't it? And you can do that for any of the airports in the world. This is all free, by the way. You can go and sign up with Virtual Flight Online for free. There's also an email newsletter, so you can see I've been quite busy this weekend. We've got the national tours have just come in, the big change to all of the fleet assignments, more and more tours, and I've just replaced the email servers, so we don't have any issues anymore with people receiving emails. It turned out the web server that this is sitting upon is shared web space, and somebody else on the same IP address essentially was sending spam out, so it got blacklisted. So I had to act and replace the mail server, so you can see the whole story there, telling everybody what's been going on. So here's the newsletter. It's free to join up by email. and if we've ever got any news to tell everybody, it comes in here, and you can see all the links to the other things. We've also got a forum we've just opened up, and so you can see it's very quiet at the moment. There's a few subjects in here that are being talked about. We've also got a Discord server, which is mostly used for group flights. So yeah, there's all sorts of things we do. So we can see there's Discord. There's a Facebook group as well. So if you look in Facebook and go and visit the Facebook group, some people like Facebook, some people don't, but there's 800 people who like it. And you can see, you know, the news gets shared through here as well in exactly the same way. So there we go. So I've got a long way to go, haven't I? Because we are here and we're going to down here somewhere for Cairo.
060, descend and maintain 4000, beeline 6 Bravo Yankee.
But yes, do feel free to go and join
Requesting 25 right.
Virtual Flight Online.
25 right to beeline 6 Bravo Yankee.
Beeline 6 Bravo Yankee. Expect runway 25 right.
The Virtual Flight Online airline will work with FSX, P3D, X-Plane, 2020, 2024. It works with all of them. There is an ACARS client you can find out about. I'll just open the browser up again quickly to show you this. So if we go to virtualflight.online, the home site, there's a huge guide in here. It tells you all about everything. So just go to virtualflight.online in your browser, and if you go into the airline, it tells you all about all of it. Yep, and if you go into ACARS, it tells you all about the ACARS software, how to install it, so where to download it from, how to create a profile with it. There is an add-on you need to put into your simulator called the FSUIPC LVAR module. It's what it uses to read some of the data from the aeroplane, which the simulator doesn't cough up. The LVAR module does. And it gives you full instructions in here, and you know how it works. And there's some instructions down the end, look, for other simulators. But it should just work straight out of the box with 2020 and 2024. But yeah, so we've gone through, there's a huge beginner's guide in the website. So register an account, installing ACARS, starting out as a student pilot, what you can expect to see, recording your first flight, choosing different kinds of flights, starting flights, ending flights. What if a flight goes wrong? You can file a manual PIREP. So to do that, you would come into this form and fill it out. So we allow that as well. So we've tried to cover all the bases for everybody. So yeah, feel free to go and register for free with virtualflight.online. So go to airline.virtualflight.online. Also go to the forum, forums.virtualflight.online. Also go to the Discord server. Go and register everywhere. And you'll find a community of fantastic flight sim enthusiasts. With very, very few time wasters, because we have moderators and we ban them. So if somebody tries to advertise or spam or acts like an idiot, they get banned very quickly. So SoulLink is saying, when will the Starship be added to the airline? I'm just going to go and hopefully go to the right page. So if we go to the fleet.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard this flight to Cairo. We have now reached our cruising altitude and will commence the snack and drink service shortly. I must say, our delightful selection includes the exquisite chicken salad and the scrumptious vegetarian pasta.
Great, aren't they, these
After
people?
our service, we will also have articles from the airline shop available for your perusal. Thank you for your attention. We hope you enjoy your flight.
I'm just looking in here, and I'm wondering why it's not listed. Let's go and have a look behind the scenes. The Starship's in here. Beechcraft Starship. Oh, we haven't got any actual manage. So I need to go and add an aeroplane. So, yeah, we'll do it here. So, new aircraft, Beechcraft Starship. I've set the subfleet up. I haven't made an actual aeroplane. So active. We'll start it at Stansted just because that's where I always start the airplanes from. So this is the Beechcraft Starship. We'll call it G S. We'll call it G Star. Why not? It's Star, isn't it? The ICAO code. Sim brief type is Star. We don't need to set a hex code. We don't need to set the weights. We should now find that you have a Starship, but I'm going to ruin it for you because it's going to fall in with the rest of the airline, unfortunately. So if we go and look in here now at Beechcraft Starship, there's one in the fleet, and you will see in here it can only be operated by Class C, B and A. So it's business class and up, basically. So you need to get some hours on your flight book before you can choose it. Sorry. And this is to do with that whole reorganizing of, or kind of gamification in a way, of the airline. When you start out with the airline, you are a student pilot. After you've filed 1 hour in ACARS flying around in either a Cessna 152, Cessna 172 or a Robin, after you've done an hour flying around in those, which is really just an hour to...
Control contact Langen radar on 125.6.
It's really just an hour to learn the ropes.
Radar on 125.6, virtual 01.
You get all of the GA aircraft, so you are then a private pilot. After a few more hours of, and there's lots and lots of private pilot routes you can do, because you can.
Virtual 01. Good evening, maintaining flight level 410.
You can do all of the national tours on the GA aircraft.
Langen radar identified.
So after that, you become a transport pilot. You qualify for Class D. And then after Class D, you go up to Class C, which is where the business aircraft live, and that's where the Starship is. Because it is really a business aircraft, it's not a GA aeroplane. So Class C is business, Class B is they're really airlines. B is business, C is business, B is express, which is all of the commercial airliners, and then Class A is the intercontinental airliners, so the likes of the A350, the 777, the 747, the A380 and so on. So you have to earn your way up to get to do the flights. The other nice thing, in the Discord server we've got a button you can press which gives you your rank in Discord, so you get grouped together in the list of people that are online. So you can actually say, you know, you can go up the ranks and be in the group with your buddies who are all the same rank as you. And it lists them all in order, which is quite nice. I think everybody's kind of wondering what's going to happen with Discord, because they're going for an IPO, aren't they? That means they're going to have to make money, so get ready for Discord to change. It's been relatively free of marketing and advertising so far. I would expect we're going to start to see posts appearing that are advertising posts in the middle of our channels. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it will kill Discord as we've known it. That's half the reason we've stood up the forums, because we can see it coming. Okay, so let's go and see what else we've got in here. Very cool. So we've got the sectors. That's quite a nice display to have on, isn't it? So you can see when the next handoff is going to be to the next controller. Obviously if you zoom in you'll get the charts, but it's quite good the way Navigraph does this. At that zoom level you just see the sectors, so you can kind of estimate when the next handoff will be into the next airspace. Not that we have to worry, because we've got SayIntentions invisible co-pilot sat over here helping us out. Do we get the option in the A350 to have them visible or not? Don't think so.
Lufthansa 656, Langenradar. Contact Frankfurt approach on 118.505.
Contact Frankfurt approach on 118.505, Lufthansa 656.
Anyway. So we are at the moment, should we pull the flight chart up? If I close that out of the way and go window, open window layout, minimal for little nav map, then we can see where we are. So we are over Germany, so we are hearing German air traffic on the radio, which is really cool. And we can let our co-pilot take care of everything for the next couple of hours, and we can just relax. We'll obviously leave the screens on so we can see what's going on. Should we get rid of the taskbar out of Windows way so it's not in our way? See, the thing is, if we pull little nav map up in front, it will pull the taskbar with it unless we tell it can go away. And it still hasn't. I obviously missed something there. Taskbar, settings, taskbar, automatically hide. There it goes. And it's working now, look. So yes, I'm going to go make a coffee and stretch my legs. So I'm going to leave a note in here that I'm moving away for a few minutes. I'll say taking a break. We'll be back soon. Go register for an account at airline.virtualflight.online and forums.virtualflight.online. And I will hopefully, can I pin this message? Yes. Oh, also go and join the newsletter. It's free. Just stick your email in and then you get any news we post out. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like it. Is it possible to use the base game EFB with the A350? Yes, of course it is. But it won't help you program the systems. Yeah, so there's nothing to stop me while I'm flying along just pressing tab and using this. But it is purely there for reference. It's not going to influence. You can't send. You know, there's the send button up here where you can send to avionics. It won't work. That only works with the Asobo aeroplanes that have got the avionics kits that it can do that with, and that tends to be the GNS 530 and 430, G1000 and things like that.
Traffic, Skyhawk 289er Charlie Charlie, ready for departure at runway 26.
I am going to go make a coffee. I'll be back in a bit.
Vision 2 Golf Papa, contact Belgium info on 129.325.
124.35, Vision 2 Golf Papa.
Langen radar, Lufthansa 656, still maintaining flight level 230, good evening.
Lufthansa 656, Langen radar, identified, good evening.
Contact Frankfurt approach on 118.505, Lufthansa 656.
Okay, I'm back. I have coffee. Should be good for another hour or so. So whereabouts are we in the world? We are still over Germany. We're going to be passing over, though, into another sector, although that's Western and Eastern German airspace, really, isn't it? If we go and have a look on a world map, I can show it a bit better. Yeah, there we go, look. So we're going down to Austria soon, and then down across the Balkans, past Greece, and dropping into Cairo. So, worth having a look before we get anywhere near there. They've never fixed this bug, have they? Oh, look. Reload. Navigraph has had a problem. Sign in with Google. It's me. Approve. And it's come back up. Never seen that. There's a few bugs in Navigraph. They show up now and again. It's generally very, very stable. We want to import... Oh, it's this flight here, isn't it? We've already imported it. So, let's go and look at the Cimbri flight plan, which was in the browser. And I've closed the browser because I am a super genius. So let's go and open this to get it back to default layout. Turn the wind barbs off. I think we'll be fine. I was going to open a browser, wasn't I? So we want to go to SimBrief, so we can go and look at our flight plan for our current flight, view the flight plan, and direct into Hecka, runway 23 left. So we don't actually have a star. We'll be getting vectors then when we get close, so we'll have to be on the ball.
Contact Frankfurt approach on 118.505.
That's not for us.
Please direct pickup for shortcut. Easy, A3 Foxtrot Echo.
So there's the general layout of the runways, but you can see we haven't programmed in how we're going to get there. So we haven't got a start, but we're saying ILS runway 23. That's saying 23 centre. We've got 23 left, haven't we? So final add to route. So that's what it's going to do. Yeah, well, I imagine we'll get vectored in for CI23L or Lima. We'll see what happens. So they're taking us in right the way over the top of the airport. Then we get vectors. Interesting. So 6,000 feet, look. Flight level 060 on A16. So then as we pass overhead at 6,000 feet, because obviously Cairo's almost at sea level, isn't it? I imagine we'll get vectored out. So there's 23 left. That's the missed approach vector. So I imagine we'll get turned around here and come back in. We'll find out when we get there. So it's not a straight in route. So it gives us something to think about, which is great. As you can see, we're only about a quarter of the way there though, so it's going to be a long evening. We'll minimize all of these things. and settle in. So just to reiterate, anybody watching, if you want some free stuff, everyone loves free stuff. Go to airline.virtualflight.online, register an account, sign up with the airline. You will appear here as the oh no, it's the latest awards. I want the latest pilots, newest pilots. Here we go. Look. So if you sign up, you'll see your names appearing here during the evening. Go do it. Go and sign up. If we go and have a look at the Virtual Flight Online newsletter, go sign up for that as well. So just go to virtualflight.online on the internet, and it's got links for all these things. And what have we looked at so far? So there's the airline. Oh, the forum. Go and sign up for the forums. So forums.virtualflight.online.
Virtual 001, contact Langen Radar on 125.2.
So co-pilot should kick in.
Switching to Langen Radar on 125.2, Virtual 01.
Watch the radar change. The 125.1, wasn't it? Is she going to change my radio as well?
Langen Radar, Virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
Why hasn't my radio frequency changed?
Langen Radar identified. Good evening.
Interesting. That should have changed. They've dropped the ball there. I wonder if I should file that with them. We're on 125.2, look. Let's have a look at the transcript. Oh no, it was 125.2. I'm sure she said 1. 125.2, so yes, it's me mishearing it. More coffee required. So, Blue Ridge Plane Spotter is saying, I have the new cabins pack. How do I change it? I don't know. I imagine it'd be in the configuration, won't it, of the aeroplane. So, in 2024, you can configure the aeroplane before you go fly it. So, you know, when you're choosing the aeroplane, there's a configure button, and you can choose option packs. I imagine they've done it there. So, Roxanne saying, is the performance improved with this update of the A350? I have no idea. I limit my sim quite heavily to 30 frames a second, regardless of the headroom I've got on the graphics card. So I'm going to shock everybody here if you've never seen me do this before. If I go and look in here, look, I'm not even hitting 50% on any of the drawdowns on anything. I deliberately run the sim below where I could, because otherwise it just turns your PC into a huge space heater. And it's smooth enough. It's running at 30 frames a second like an absolute truck. And it never gets stressed. The fans never explode inside the PC. Although saying that, I've got liquid cooling, so they wouldn't be as bad as if it wasn't. But I would recommend everybody do the same. Don't try and run the sim as, you know, at 60 frames a second. That way idiocy lies, because then you start to notice every single little stutter, and it's just not worth it. Enjoy flying the airplanes. Don't worry about whether you're getting 60 frames a second. And we're turning gently on the next vector towards Radar. Sounds like a hero from a 1980s sword and sorcery movie, doesn't it? Radar. Am I still running transmitter in the background? Yes, I am. So, tip for the day, if anyone wants to try this to see it actually working and to let me know if it does work on their browser, if you go to transmitter.virtualflight.online/radar, you should see my aeroplane. And after a few seconds you should see a little label pop up, and the label should travel with the aeroplane, and you should be able to drag that label around and zoom in and out on the map, and it should snap to the same distance it was. I've just been playing with this today, writing the code for it. So hopefully you should be able to see that. If you go to transmitter.virtualflight.online/radar, you'll see that. This is a test install of Transmitter. It's not gonna live here forever. I'm gonna go and spin up a virtual machine at somewhere like DigitalOcean maybe, and run it on a separate machine than the airline, so there's no risk of it ever bringing the airline down. Because if Transmitter gets popular, it could happen. I built Transmitter when 2020 came out, and I stopped supporting it for a long time because it just became a headache. The way it was built managed to kill web servers, which is why it was better that rather than having one install of it on the internet that hundreds of people were using, it was better that lots of people had it and they had their own little groups using it. But I've just improved the source code immensely, so it runs in RAM on the web server now. It doesn't use a database, which means it can respond in milliseconds rather than it having to open a database connection and do whatever. Even though it uses pooled database connections, if there's any developers out there that know about this sort of stuff, it was using every trick in the book and it was still killing the web servers. So I've rewritten it to use APCU, which is using RAM on the web server rather than the database. So it's shared RAM between everybody reporting their positions. So the way this works, there's this little program I'm running in the background called Transmitter. If you've never seen it before, you can get it off GitHub. You put in the URL of the server that is arranged with obviously whoever's running the server, and this is my server here. And there's a secret PIN number. If you don't know that, it won't work.
Virtual 01, Langen radar, contact Munich radar on 136.525.
So we just let our co-pilot talk back.
Radar on 136.525. Virtual 01.
So, yeah, you run this, and what this does is it talks to the simulator via the SimConnect interface, and it broadcasts it broadcasts that data up to the internet.
01, Munich radar identified. Hello.
And that's what allows this website to show where everybody is and to refresh every few seconds. So if you could, it can easily deal with 100 people. We'll leave it running. You can also get the default view where you say status, and it just gives you a nice picture of a map. And then down here you can see who it is. And if you click on them, it will zoom in on them on the map and show you them, and if you click on them on the map it will give you a nice little label. But that's what it does. It's really, I built it for group flights because there's a group I fly with quite often called MyAir, and they needed it because they needed to simulate air traffic control. Because the other trick it does, if you go and look in little nav map, where are we? We're here. If I turn on the view from Transmitter, so there we go, look, there's a little red aeroplane there, that's the last reported position. So every 5 seconds that will update. So therefore you can use it to simulate air traffic control, and where it beats the way, any way we might do it with Flight Simulator. This only shows aeroplanes within like 50 miles or so. This will work at any range, it just draws them on the map, little red aeroplanes. So anyone who's connected to the same transmitter server as you can configure little nav map to show them. The instructions are all on GitHub to do with it. So I built it, I don't know, when 2020 came out. I'm amazed no one else has done anything similar, but then I open sourced it and gave it away anyway. You haven't missed anything, so Gregorio, don't worry. We're still chugging along over the top of Europe. We've just gone through the sector change. You can see it in the transcript at SayIntentions. Look, we're on Munich radar now. Gone from Langen radar to Munich radar, which would have been over here, look. So we'll be over to Austria soon. So should we have a wander around this shiny new A350? Let's modify our height, open the cockpit door, and go and have a wander.
Speedbird 731, contact Munich approach on 118.83.
Over to 118.83, Speedbird 731 heavy, bye-bye.
Can we use this? Does it actually work? I don't think it does it? No. Oh well. Obviously we're on night lighting in the cabin. It's quite cool, isn't it? All the screens have been switched off. You can look out through the windows there and see the world going by. We've got the emergency lights on the floor. Or they're not on, this is just the guide lights. They go a lot brighter if it's an emergency. It's quite cool, isn't it, with the night lighting? Anyway, let's go and jump back down to the cockpit. It's a bit brighter down here, isn't it? Can we control the cabin lights from here somehow? Flight ops menu. Options, equipment. Cabin options. I wonder how we control the lights for the cabin then. Can we do it via the overhead panel, or do the cabin crew do it typically? I don't think we do it from here, do we? Turned the seatbelts off some time ago, didn't we? Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about it. So let's go and put this back on the en route chart. It's quite handy, isn't it? It is a monster of an aeroplane, isn't it? Even the flight deck is humongous compared to most aeroplanes. It's like sitting in a living room surrounded by flat screens. It's funny, I've often comment on this. Because I fly so many different aeroplanes in the simulator on such a regular basis, I muddle them up. And I'll go looking for a feature.
Descend flight level 120.
That wasn't us.
Munich radar Lufthansa request for dispatch.
So yeah, I get muddled up between different aeroplanes and sometimes forget, which is why I write the procedures. Once you get into the swing of it though, you do a couple of flights in an aeroplane and you remember it all. It comes flooding back. Ah, doors L1 and L4 have the cabin light buttons. So if we come in, this is L1 here, isn't it? What does this do? Can we press it? The mouse isn't lighting up. It's working. Lights. Night mode, main on. Whoa. Oh, that's better. We can actually see now. We've got no passengers, so we haven't woken anybody up. So this is just the default insides. I guess the pack you can buy for... They're giving it away now, aren't they? Inibuilds. Following the mob descending on them and kind of forcing their hand, they've had to basically give away something that a whole team spent a fortune in terms of time building, and they've had to... I don't agree with it at all, but, you know, good on them for giving it away. But I don't agree with the reasons of why they've had to. I did take a look at Reddit earlier, at the flight simulator section on Reddit. It's like the Wild West. If anybody puts a word out, the wrong way, then they get just attacked from all directions. It's awful. I used to think Reddit was great, but it would appear that some of the communities on Reddit are not anything to be proud of. And I imagine it's that sort of... I saw them organising the mob at Reddit to attack Inibuilds about the A350 add-on. And I just thought, oh my word. So if you didn't know, I don't think this is one of them, but some of the pillars inside the aeroplane, if we go down the middle, there's stairs in them in the real thing, and then there are bunks above in that top part of the fuselage. There are bunks because the long-range aeroplanes carry several crews, and they rotate them, so the crews get to go and have a sleep.
Cessna Delta Romeo Delta, contact Innsbruck radar on 128.975.
And that's cabin crew as well as flight crew, by the way.
Contact Innsbruck radar on 128.97.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see it around here very easily. It's too dark down there. But I saw it. I watched it on a documentary online, and they took a camera and went up, and the pilots were showing them around the bunks above the cabins. So Attila is saying, should I get the PMDG 777ER or F? Well, F is freight. ER is the extended range passenger variant. It's up to you. They fly the same. This is incredible, isn't it? Just wandering around the aeroplane on our own. One day I'll get GSX, and then we'll be able to see everybody sitting in the seats. But I imagine that will cripple the frame rate even further, so I'm not too keen to do that. It's mad, isn't it? Can we press buttons on these things? No. So I think that might be one of the stairways. They're hidden away in various strategic places around the aircraft. Okay, we are just about to pass into Austrian airspace. Have we actually been handed over yet? No, we're still on Munich radar at the moment. But I think Munich might cover Austria as well. We'll find out, won't we? If we turn the sectors on in Little Nav Map, it's pretty good at this. It's quite a complicated little area here. Look, if we turn the map off, you can see the lines a bit better. So we'll cross over Alpine. I'm not showing all of the areas, am I? There we go, Vienna and Munich. So we'll cross over when we cross over there, and we'll get handed off to Vienna. If we change the maps back to terrain view, looks a bit more like an atlas book, doesn't it? The helicopter, can we make the helicopter map or airports go away? Heliports, there we go. Get rid of them. It's a lot neater now. We don't need to see that we are transmitting with transmitter. We've got that running in the background. If we go back to the browser, if I go to transmitter.radar, and there's a little airplane still chugging away. I'll leave it running. Be a good long-term test of it to see how much it stresses the server. I don't think it will anymore. So yeah, I absolutely, I'm just reading the live stream comments. I absolutely agree with what Gregorio is saying about VATSIM. The experience is different talking to humans. The only problem is they don't cover the whole world all the time at all levels, whereas AI does. So it gives you that end-to-end story wherever you're going all the time. Obviously for VATSIM events that's different, but then you get into a queue with 40 other aeroplanes and you end up waiting an hour to take off, which has its own challenges. I think the main win for AI air traffic services is to get people over that fear factor of talking to air traffic services. I read a really fascinating story actually. I think SayIntentions put it out themselves. They're working with a college in the US who have an aviation course, and the lecturer on the course said the change in the confidence of the students since they had access to talk to the AI air traffic services was just night and day. So then when they went out, in the real world with their light aeroplanes or whatever they've got at the university, they said it made such a huge difference to their ability to communicate confidently.
Munich radar, good day. Eurostar 8118 with you, descending to flight level 050.
Eurostar 8118, Munich radar identified. Guten Tag.
That's the other thing that's nice, obviously. The AI ATCs have the appropriate regional accents. So if we put the sectors back on, we're not expecting to get handed over until, in about another 50 miles. Then we'll drop down in towards Cairo, but we've got a little way to go yet. So at the moment in the airplane it's 22:43 hours, which you can see here at Obedi, 22:43.
01, Munich radar, contact Vienna radar on 132.16.
That's interesting, we're being handed over early.
Switching to Vienna radar on 132.16, virtual 01.
Are we on the corner of a sector or something? Or they're just doing it ahead of time, aren't they?
Vienna radar, virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
Virtual 01, Vienna radar identified. Good evening.
Should we ask the cabin crew how the passengers are doing? Hi, how are the passengers doing?
The passengers are doing quite well, Captain. They seem to be enjoying the flight thus far.
Have they got any good movies to watch? Let's see how conversational she'll be.
Indeed, Captain. We have a delightful selection of films available for our passengers to enjoy during the flight.
What's your favourite movie this evening? Let's see how far we can push
Captain,
this.
Captain, I must say I do have a fondness for classic films, particularly The Sound of Music. It always brings a sense of joy, doesn't it?
I don't know, I think quite a lot of people get quite wound up by The Sound of Music.
Indeed, Captain, it seems that the sound of music can evoke a range of emotions. Perhaps it is the nostalgia that resonates with many.
I love large language
Ladies
models.
and gentlemen, we are currently cruising at an altitude of 41,000 feet. The weather at our destination, Cairo, is quite pleasant with a temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. We will be serving refreshments shortly, and after that I will come around selling articles from the airline shop. Thank you for your attention.
Very good. So should we ask the co-pilot to give a status report to the passengers? I wonder if she can do that. Hi, can you give us, or can you give the passengers a status report on the internal radios?
I am unable to give a status report to the passengers. That's not something I can do.
Oh well, we found our limit there then. What sort of things can you do?
I handle radio comms and briefings, Jonathan.
That told me. This airplane is a monster, isn't it? It's so good. So we're just passing... oh, we're over the Balkans at the moment, aren't we? So going down over the... oh, not just yet, actually. I'm going to say we'll be over the former Yugoslavia soon. I always get the names of these mixed up. They all vote for each other in the Eurovision Song Contest, don't they? They vote for each other's, you know, all the neighbours vote for each other. It's quite amusing. And I've got some junk in little nav map that I need to remove. I did a flight the other day and I was illustrating how you can use user points with radio triangulation to mark your position the old school way, which is always good fun. But then you have to go and clear up afterwards on the map. I think we flew into Papa. It was part of the round the world route that I've been doing. But to keep myself occupied during the route.
Radar on 12.555. Have a nice day, Austrian 854.
Oh yeah, along the way we used...
Can you please expedite your climb to flight level 380?
I'm trying to remember which VOR station we used to triangulate from. It was good fun though. Oh, it was this one down here, wasn't it? The Klagenfurt VOR. So I'm just reading backwards. I still remember when I first joined that sim radar platform a few years ago, like I knew how to radio talk to ATC, but with a real conversation ATC, I have to slow down my speech. Yeah, I sometimes get emails from people telling me that I make it look easy, and that's because I have an enormous advantage in that I have an English accent to begin with. And therefore I can speak very clearly and very quickly, and it lends itself to being recognized accurately. It's an interesting one, isn't it? But then I think, again, with speaking on the radio, it's practice as well, to make yourself understood, to enunciate properly, as they call it. So, you know, sounding your letters properly. It does make me cringe a little bit when you hear people, even doesn't matter about international accents or whatever, but if they are not speaking clearly.
Vienna radar, Wizz Air 88 Tango Victor, flight level 320.
Wizz Air 88 Tango Victor, radar contact.
So yeah, there are standard patterns of speech for talking to air traffic services which you should follow. but it isn't set in stone. And I know some people get really hung up about saying things exactly the right way, but that is not required at all. When you're handed over to a new controller, you're basically just telling them your identity and your flight level. They're expecting you, because you have filed your flight plan. If you are on, you know, the previous controller will have updated where you are and your ETAs and all the rest of it. So the way air traffic service systems work, they're expecting you. So when you hand over, they're waiting for you to call.
Descent altitude 4,000, Eurowing 2784.
And if you don't call in, they may actually raise the alarm in the real world. Because, you know, where's that airplane gone that we were expecting?
784, contact Bratislava radar on 122.23.
I had an interesting conversation with one of the guys from SayIntentions was looking in last weekend while I was trying out the traffic injection for the first time. And we had an issue with it where I wasn't handed over by the controller to the next controller. So I took it upon myself to contact the next controller. And there is an argument there that as a pilot, you know who you should be talking to during, you know, the phase of flight you're in, wherever you are, whatever it is. You know who you should be talking to. So it's kind of incumbent upon you to contact the appropriate person at the right time and not wait for the handoff. Because the previous controller will still see you on radar. And if they're busy dealing with something else, you don't just hang around waiting for them to say goodbye. So, now this is a really good subject actually. Someone is saying, when are we going to get a New York JFK add-on for SayIntentions, where ATC talks at twice the normal speed and threatens to fight you when you land if you read back incorrectly? It's already doing it. In busy airspace, this is some of the stuff that SayIntentions has got coming down the pipe. Because of this traffic injection, it's changed the manner of its communications with you. They do talk more quickly in busy airspace, and if you don't get it right, they come back at you and they have a tone. They get shirty pretty quickly because you are throwing out their plans, and it's already doing it. And they will also take you away from the plan and vector you. They'll do it for multiple reasons. I've seen them do it during quiet times. I've also seen them do it where I had an issue with an airplane and I'd lagged behind, you know, the instruction, and they threw away the plan and vectored me away from where I was. And it was like, okay, please, you know, this speed, this direction, this altitude, now. And if you don't do that quickly, they come back again, and they really are spelling it out to you at that point, giving you headings, altitudes and speeds, and getting you to confirm. So it's coming, and it's really good at it. There are some great videos on YouTube though, aren't there, where pilots have had differences of opinion, shall we call it, with air traffic controllers, not just in America, all over the place. And it never goes well for the pilot. Because the air traffic controller, that pilot is not the foremost amongst their concerns most of the time. They're just saying, can you do what I've asked you to do? Confirm or not. And if you can't, I'm going to give you alternate instructions. I'm not going to have a conversation with you about it. I'm giving you instructions. At the end of the day, air traffic services is there to help. And in a busy airspace around a city airport, they are there for the safety of everybody, not just to get you down. So you're better off just doing as they say as quickly as you can. Because it swings and roundabouts. If you have a problem on the airplane and you call it, I don't think SayIntentions does it yet. If you call a mayday, or call an emergency, I'm not sure if they'll clear the airspace for you. And suddenly call down through everybody else and put them into holds or whatever they need to do. That was one of the really fascinating things.
001, contact Ljubljana radar on 119.885.
Been passed on again to Ljubljana this time.
Contacting Ljubljana radar on 119.885, virtual 01.
It's a few months ago now, when one of Elon Musk's rockets blew up on the climb out, going up to orbit.
Virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
01, Ljubljana radar identified, base Dobro.
It was fascinating. I was watching Flight Radar 24 when the SpaceX rocket exploded. And there's a rectangular box that the airspace that is cleared, ready for a launch. And all of the aeroplanes that were approaching...
X-ray heavy, cruising flight level 380.
I'll get a word in a moment, won't I?
Flight level 400.
All of the aeroplanes that were approaching the box went into holds on the edge of the box.
Level 400.
And they did it quickly. So you can only imagine the speed of the radio communications that went out to tell every flight approaching the box, hold. Immediate hold. Because they were basically waiting for bits of rocket to fall back into the atmosphere. I think the day that happened, it was out the islands out over the ocean. The box extended over. I forget what the name of the islands are. So Gregorio's got some great comments in there about request instruction confirmation. The other thing to bear in mind is aviate, navigate, communicate. So communication is the last thing. If you're having problems with the aeroplane, then communication is not your primary concern. Once you've stabilized the aeroplane or whatever you're doing, then you communicate. That's really cool. So Nick is saying in the comments, similar thing. MIA airspace into KMIA. Nothing, no temps. Yeah, so in the real world, there's a second frequency everybody will be listening into. It doesn't so much happen in the simulator world. So they'd obviously hear all the other pilots talking. The one time I've heard that on the internet, there's a really...
01 Ljubljana radar, contact Zagreb radar on 127.11.
We are going between the sectors over the Balkans, aren't we?
Radar on 127.11, virtual 01.
There's a fantastic video recording somewhere on YouTube, I'm not sure where you'd find it these days, of a pilot, I think they were south of Shannon.
Zagreb radar, virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
I think they were south of Shannon, south of Ireland, and they reported a UFO. And then several other pilots in the area came on channel. They were obviously monitoring. It was the 121.5. It was the whatever the local frequency was for the back channel, and they all started coming in. They'd all seen it. I think it was a military test aircraft, but it did it came in between the air traffic at a crazy speed and turned, and then went off in a different direction, and they were all reporting it and they were all seeing it. I think it actually got as far as being in the newspapers. But now and again you see weird things like that, don't you? It's like when the Belgian Air Force reported the black triangles years ago. They scrambled F-16s and chased them, and they went public because obviously somebody had new toys in their airspace. Not little green men, little black aeroplanes from Nevada probably. And they went public and showed the radar, the radar displays from the F-16s on their national news. Oh, Stu Ladd's given us a fantastic tip there for the for my efforts. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. They should build some like military test planes and things into the sim, shouldn't they? So you now and again you get. I guess it would have to be incredibly rare though, because it's like a once-in-a-career type thing in the real world, isn't it? Where you get something completely unidentified go shooting through the airspace. And you put it down to either an equipment failure, or you don't dare report it. Do you know, it's funny, Stu is just mentioning in the live stream about the 737. I wonder how many people are holding out on 2024 until PMDG release the 737s. I wonder how many. Because I know an awful lot of people that is the only aeroplane they fly in the simulator. I'm kind of a unicorn, I suppose, that I fly anything and everything. Although I don't tend to go near the helicopters. I find them quite... No, not tedious is too strong a word. But I find them hard work. That said, the more modern Airbus helicopters are good fun because they've got lots of toys to play with in the cockpit. So yes, someone's asking in the live stream, is it good, the ULR? It's identical to the others really, it just can go further, can't it? So we're flying on a night flight.
736, grab radar identified. Good evening.
International 7736, ready to descend.
Cruising along, flight level 410. Should we have a look at the map and see where we are properly? So there's an aircraft coming towards us at 33,000 feet, they're 10,000 feet below us. Well, 8,000. It's interesting that I'm not seeing the other aircraft on the display. Whether it's just not implemented, I don't know. I would have expected to be seeing aeroplanes. Oh, maybe the range is too high. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh no, that's not an aeroplane, is it? That's a waypoint. A VBA is a VOR. But similar distance to the VOR, look, there should be an aeroplane, even though it's 10,000 feet below us. Maybe they don't render them if they are outside of a certain number of thousands of feet. Because it's of no significance to us. Because we've got traffic, look. I think it would have showed up, maybe. I don't know. Should put constraints on. Is the TCAS on? Yeah, it is. So if I put serve on, and we've got TARA norm on. But maybe it's not. I don't know whether, because there's nothing at the same altitude level as us. So they are 8,000 feet below us. So maybe that's why it's not bothering to render it. We could. I guess we could switch it to below as well. Ah, yes. So it is. It's filtering the altitude ranges, which is what we suspected. Because we're high, if we leave it on below, we might get to see some more along the way. There's nothing out in front of us at the moment, though. The wonders of a late night flight is quite quiet airspace around us. So, Gregorio is on about the Cessna 152. I did a whole series in 2020 with the 152. I worked back through the pilot training handbooks. I bought them from a shop in the UK called Poolies, and went through, the basic flight instruction books, doing the exercises. So, you know, controlled climbs, descents, climbing turns, descending turns, stalls, low speed flight, spins, different landing techniques for short field, rough ground, recovery from unusual attitudes, spins, obviously. But yeah, it was good fun. And the 152 is so forgiving to fly as well. So Nick is saying, the reason the aircraft wasn't, or the reason the traffic wasn't being shown up, was what I suspected. It was because it was so many thousand feet away until we switched it to below, which cants obviously the radar downwards. Then it wasn't going to bother showing us it because it was too far away. If we put this back to norm, then it will be fine. For the moment, if we see something coming on the map along the way, we'll switch it back to below. Because remember, we're at flight level 410, 41,000 feet. We're high, so pretty much everything's going to be below us, unless we see some military flight, which you won't see in Flight Sim. You know, get the odd U2 or something whistling past at 70,000 feet. Is Volanta free? Yes, it is. There is a free option, and there are premium functions within it that you can pay extra for. But the base product of Volanta is free, and it has quite a lot of functionality for free.
Good evening, Austin 82 Sierra, passing to flight level 352.
There is another piece of software I saw recently. If I go to Add Remove Programs, I don't think I've uninstalled it. I can't remember the name of it, so I'm just having a look through what's on this computer. It's all flight sim stuff. Elevatex, have you seen that? It'll probably do an update. Yeah, it's doing an update because I haven't run it. This is where it's going to crash the sim, isn't it? Because I'm doing other things. It should be alright. Windows is pretty stable these days with all this sort of stuff. So if you've not seen this, definitely worth a download. Sign in, and I think it will remember me. It's going via my allow. Account linked. There we go. So this is kind of like Volanta, I guess, but it's free. And it's pretty cool. So if we start tracking, It knows where we're going. And I've not really played with it, so there's us. No, that's not us. That's not us. That's not us. Where's, oh, we're the white one, okay. Flights. Yeah, so I haven't really played with this at all, but it's worth going and have a look at. I installed it a little while ago and I haven't come back to it. I thought that was going to show us our flight details.
Radar, contact Sarajevo radar on 136.05. Contacting Sarajevo radar on 136.05. Virtual 01.
Yeah, you can see there's a few issues with the user interface here. So, can we fetch SimBrief? Yes, we can.
Sarajevo radar, virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
Virtual 01, Sarajevo radar identified, Buenos Tardes.
Do I have to go and tell it about my SimBrief account, maybe?
Eurowings 1956. Contact Zagreb radar on 125.78.
Contact Zagreb radar on 125.78, Eurowings 1956.
Eurowings 1956, Sarajevo radar. Contact Zagreb radar on 125.78.
I didn't understand a word of that.
Zagreb radar on 125.78. Good afternoon, Eurowings 1956.
SimBrief connected. So I don't know why it's not fetching it. Maybe it's still in development. I know it's still early in development, but this should be quite cool when it gets up and running properly. So it's doing the same sort of trick that Volante is doing. It's not drawing the route, is it? That's probably something I've switched off, to be honest. SimBrief route, there we go. And it's now got the route. So it's easy when you know how, isn't it? So you can turn on scenery and day and night line and the weather radar on the map, so that's all come up now. It's quite cool, isn't it? Oh, we've got a rendering issue going on. That's probably an NVIDIA problem, to be honest. Yeah. I've noticed the graphics card sometimes has a bit of a bad day with that sort of thing. But yeah, so ElevateX, go and have a look online for it and have a play with it. That lady sounds AI. That's because she is. I'm running SayIntentions in the background. Air Traffic Services is being run by artificial intelligence. We can talk to the cabin and say, have you got some coffee back there that we can grab?
Yes, Captain, we do have some freshly brewed coffee available. I shall bring it to the flight deck shortly.
She's quite officious, isn't she? Should we see if we can change her for somebody who sounds a bit more friendly? Channel 2, cabin crew. We're going to go for Caroline instead of that one. So let's see what Caroline sounds like. Hi Caroline, have you got that coffee yet?
Oh, I'll bring the coffee in just a minute, Captain.
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Cabin crew, please prepare for beverage service.
So we've also got during the flight, just so for the benefit of Spursy, who's asking about the AI.
Emirates 2 for 2 request flight level 390.
Every voice we're hearing is an artificial intelligence voice, with all of the regional accents and all the rest of it. So in the background, we're talking to Sarajevo radar at the moment. We can actually talk to them. Should we get a speed check? Sarajevo radar, virtual 001, speed check, please. Sometimes takes them a few seconds. Should we go again? Sarajevo radar, virtual 001, speed check please. Okay, so has the wonderful lady in the cockpit tuned us in 136.05. That's correct. Sarajevo radar, radio check.
Virtual 001, Sarajevo radar identified. Good evening.
Sarajevo radar, virtual 001, speed check please.
Virtual 001, current speed is 487 knots.
There we go. They may have just been busy. Can I ask them for the football scores? No. So at the moment I've got an artificially intelligent co-pilot in the cockpit with me. She is dealing with all of the radio communications, so I don't have to, so I can talk to you guys and not have to focus too much. But at any point I want, I could tell her to stop doing that and I could take over. Should we ask her if she's still happy doing it? So I can talk to her on the intercom channel. Are you still happy doing the radio comms? Is that okay?
Yes, Jonathan. Yes, I'm good with the comms, Jonathan.
It's quite scary, isn't it? We're all going to be made obsolete by AI robots. We'll all be fed into a big mixer and turned into Solient Green. If you've not seen the old movie, you need to go watch it.
Papa Charlie Whiskey, contact Zagreb radar on 125.225.
Switching to Zagreb radar on 125.255. Papa Charlie Whiskey, good day.
Okay, let's go and have a look and see how we're doing on the flight plan. So we're approaching VBAR 2320. Current time is 2320, and there's VBAR right in front of us, about 20 miles in front of us. And just looking down through the flight plan, we are anticipating arrival into Heka, 23 left, with about 5 tons of fuel left when we get there by the look of it, at 1:35 AM. Which is 2:35 for me. Oh my word. Because it's already 20 past midnight here. So I'm going to have a late one. We can speed it up. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, so let's try it. If we go into the flight ops menu, we can somewhere, I'm going to have to remember where this is. You can accelerate the simulator. Simulation. Time compression, automatic. Pause at top of descent. No. Or what does that do? Autopilot disconnect protection, yes. So auto import. So max compression up to 2 times, up to 4 times. So we're going to put time compression on, which will speed up our flight. So it's doing it automatically. So it will still do all the call-outs, but we're going to save ourselves a ton of time rather than sitting in cruise for hours on end. So this is a feature of the A350. So if we come back down, we should see these numbers changing. In fact, I might not be able to do it while we're in speeded up mode. There we go. So these numbers are going to be depleting rather quickly. So every few seconds you'll see the time calculations change. We are hurtling across the map. So this will read our ground speed. Oh, actually, no, it's still got the same ground speed, look, even though it's accelerated in the simulator. I wondered whether it would show us doing 1,000 miles an hour, or 1,000 knots, sorry, which is essentially what's happening.
Air 2 Kilo Echo, Zagreb control radar, climb and maintain flight level 370. With 2 Kilo Echo, contact Banja Luka, information on 135.575.
So, being asked where to get the Inibuilds aeroplanes. On the PC, you get them from the Inibuilds app. So all of the aeroplane developers are going the same route because of the absolutely rampant piracy that goes on with Flight Simulator. So most of them these days, you have to have their app to install the program. So PMDG have gone this route, so has Inibuilds. Contrail has gone the same route, so has Just Flight has their own installers that you download, but they obviously verify your account when you install the aeroplane. And some aeroplane...
Contact Belgrade radar on 136.55.
Switching to Belgrade radar on 136.55. Virtual 01.
So I'm basically going to keep us in accelerated time until we get to top of descent. Let's see where it is.
Belgrade
so
radar, Virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
Virtual 01, Belgrade radar, identified, VASI pilot.
I'm just accelerating us so we don't end up here at 2 in the morning.
Belgrade radar, Wiz UK 720, Foxtrot, flight level 370.
Well,
720, Foxtrot, radar contact.
So Spursy is saying, is it better to go into the browser? There's no other option. If you want to buy from Inibuilds or from PMDG, you need to install their installer, and it will fetch the program. There's no other way around it. It's funny, I had a communication with somebody a while ago, and they asked me why the PMDG, I think it was the 777, they said they'd put it in their community folder and it wasn't working. And I said, just install it. I emailed them back and said, just install it via the PMDG application. And they continued on pressing, saying, why won't it work, just putting it in the community folder. And I asked them, where did you get the aeroplane from? That you've got a copy of it that's outside of the community folder, and they wouldn't answer me. So, you know, obviously I didn't want to confront them directly, but the suspicion was there. And I may have been completely unfounded. There may have been a backup they'd taken.
I will anticipate descent in about 15 minutes, so...
Or they may have been trying to put the 2020 aeroplane into 2024, for all I know.
Serbia 107, contact Sarajevo radar on 133.29er.
I do know some of the developers have started modifying their airplanes, so if they don't authenticate, they'll let you think you can still use the airplane, but suddenly some of the buttons or stuff will just not work. So they'll detect, that that it's not a properly licensed copy of the airplane. I forget what airplane I saw that did that. It may have been... I don't think it was the MD-88. It was... I can't remember anymore. There was an aeroplane a while back that I saw that where it let you go and start to look around the aeroplane, but the throttles might have been locked actually, if it wasn't licensed. Because they had a problem with their licensing mechanism, and that's how I discovered what was happening. So where is top of descent going to be? Is it marked in here on the list of legs? So we got the Let's switch this back over to speed and altitude. 410, so top of descent is after Myvor. Let's go and find out where Myvor is. Masses, couldn't be Myvor, there it is, look. So top of descent here is showing not far out, and I've only got an A320 performance profile though. But then we suspected on the way in, because we're flying in overhead at 6,000 feet. Let's go and have a look at that on the chart now. So we're going to come in at flight level 060, so 6,000 feet over the top of the airport. And then we'll get vectored, I would imagine. Now, they could vector us early, because it's a late night flight. I've seen this happen, where we'll be on approach and they'll give us the vectors to join while we're along this. So we might get turned left to join the approach. So let's go and have a look at our sim brief. Have we got wind on the airfield? We can find it out from the little nav map, can't we? Very quickly and easily. We just hover over it. 283, 300 degrees, 6 knots. So the wind is coming in from this sort of direction. So we're probably going to get runway 23 still.
GN 977, climb flight level 370.
So if we show it on little nav map, it won't make much sense because little nav map's not very good at doing this.
Our flight plan to reflect flight level 350 as final cruise altitude, please.
So yeah, where there's a yellow line.
That, please. I told you already like thousands of times. 350 is our optimal altitude, okay? 370 is way above it.
That's a communication and a half, isn't it? Isn't it great what you hear sometimes on the radio? There's Myvor, we can see it. So we should see the top of descent marker come into view very soon.
Virtual 01, Belgrade radar, contact Macedonia on 133.88.
Macedonia? I think he's.
Macedonia on 133.
I think they mean Macedonia.
Virtual 01.
So I'll turn off the automatic acceleration of the simulator in a bit.
Macedonia, Virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
Virtual 01, Macedonia identified. Kalispera.
It's quite cool that they give the they have got the correct regional accents. So which one is better, the A350 or the 777? They're both great. I'm not going to take a side. They're both great. So we can see the top of descent marker has just edged into view at 640 miles out, but we are running at 4 times compression on the speed, which will get us there rather quickly. Well, I say quickly. Yeah, I'm never going to take sides with the airplanes. I think they're all great. And I sometimes get people fire back at me saying, oh, you always like everything and you're obviously being paid by everybody to say that. No. Not at all. I will admit I am an optimist. I don't like being negative about things. And I might be negative away from YouTube about things, but I'll never do it if there's an audience. I'll always look for the positives.
Macedonia, yes, GN3 Golf Golf, flight level 230 to BFOC.
I might get frustrated now and again sometimes if things don't work correctly. But I think everybody has that.
Golf Golf. GN3 Golf Golf, ready for descent.
In a strange sort of way, it's a challenge. If something isn't working as you would expect it to, my mind immediately starts thinking, how can I work around that? what other tools do I have at my disposal to be able to still continue on? And that's always the way in aeroplanes. That's kind of a good skill to have, to know that, you know, if your GPS is packed up, well, can we go and switch on NDBs or VORs? They won't render at this range, by the way. But, you know, what else do we have in our toolkit? We know what direction we're going, you know what speed we're doing. Can we start doing some mental arithmetic to figure out where we'll be in half an hour going this course, or even, you know, descending? So we'll start descending, and we know that we can glide in a big jet at probably about 1,800 feet a minute. So how many miles do we need? So there's that whole 3-to-1 rule, where it's 3 miles for every 1,000 feet. So we're at 40,000 feet. We're going to need 120 miles to descend. You know, it's kind of a rule of thumb. Obviously you can use the spoilers to come down more quickly. So 787, no, the 787 is fantastic in the sim. I don't fly it very often, there's no real reason for that. I'm not sure if Horizon have an add-on for it in Flight Sim.2 to make it more accurate, maybe. The whole point of the modern airliners is they do make it easier. There's more configuration required up front, that's like the Airbuses. There's a lot of configuration required, but I've hardly touched the controls throughout the flight. It's flown itself. And that is the nature of a modern jet. Of course, you still need to know how the aeroplane works, though, for when things go wrong. So not just for you, but for other aeroplanes. So say we get put into a hold. It rarely happens in these simulated flights, but they quite often do it on the My Air flights, where they'll say, oh, you know, there's been a volcanic eruption, or whatever it is. Or that, you know, there's been a political incident where you're not allowed in this airspace, please immediately turn left whatever degrees. And it makes it good fun. You never quite know what the person running the flight on a given night with My Air, what they might have dreamt up. And they don't do it often, but they do it now and again, and it's very entertaining when they do. We had a group flight a couple of years ago with My Air where somebody simulated coming up. They actually did it in the sim. Came out. We were over the border of, I think it was Georgia, and Russia. Can you remember there was a news story a couple of years ago where a plane got diverted and had to land in Russia by a MiG-29 came and escorted it in? We simulated that in the group flight, and somebody came up with a MiG-29 and arrived on the wing and escorted a couple of us down into a nearby airbase with our passenger planes. It was good fun. So, yeah, the Flight Sim Studio 727 is fantastic. I'm just reading King Bob's comments there. It's much more hands-on, isn't it? That's the reason I like a lot of the Just Flight planes, like the F-28, the BAE 246, is it? I've forgotten the number. Is it 346? Oh my word, my brain, it's getting late, isn't it? 346, isn't it? I'm going to have to go look now. .146, of course it is. You know, sometimes your brain fixates on a particular number. That's what just happened to me. Okay, so you can see with accelerated time on in the simulator, we're making very, very good progress now towards top of descent. So it's not going to take too long at all. And you can see Hecka. That's it's a shame we're not going to see the pyramids because it's so dark. I'm tempted to go and turn to do a Truman show and lift the sun. Should we try it? It's not going to hurt anything, is it?
Hotel Bravo, contact Macedonia Center on 133.655.
133.655, November 77, Hotel Bravo. Macedonia, this is Aegean to clear, climbing to flight level 210, with you.
To be honest,
3 Athens identified.
Although it would be good, I don't think we'll get much of a view of Cairo anyway, and real time is nicer. Because you never know what you're going to find. So let's go and pull the range down slowly as we get closer to top of descent. So is the 777 or the A350 the bigger aeroplane? I don't know, I think they're fairly similar. I did see a news report earlier, I don't know how true it was, that the, is it the Paris Air Show that's just happened? Which is obviously a commercial platform for the big airliner manufacturers to sell their wares. The Boeing got no confirmed orders, and Airbus took 20 billion. In confirmed orders. So, yeah. Boeing are in trouble, if the story was true. So there's the top of descent marker just coming into view.
Virtual 01, Macedonia. Contact Athens on 123.725.
Switching to Athens on 123.725.
So let's have a look at where we are. So we're just coming past Crete. Cyprus off to the left.
Athens, Virtual 01, evening, maintaining flight level 410.
Virtual 01, Athens, identified Kalispera.
Very cool. I'm going to take over radio comms in a bit. As soon as we get into descent, I'll take over.
Qatar 18, request FR clearance into Israel Ben Gurion.
Give me 1 second for that clearance.
Cleared Ben Gurion via ZTEC. Departure Dennis 5, departure runway 27, initial climb 4000, departure on 118.025, squawk 6755. Qatar 18.
1 second while I grab the paperwork.
Let's go and start getting the airplane ready. So landing system is available when we get a bit closer. Let's go and check the radio frequencies while we have some time. So we're coming in, we're anticipating coming in a runway 23 left. So we want to see the ILS diagram for that, and there it is. So 108.7224 degrees. So if we go nav, there's the There's nothing down here, look. That's interesting. So it needs to clear that info from the flight levels. It may be because we're so far out still, but we'll keep an eye on that. Because we're still hundreds of miles away. Let's just make sure this has got the landing approach. So it's got CI23 left. Yeah, it's all in there. CVO, then CI. Although it hasn't actually got the ILS in here, look. CI. So that's the one out here. Okay, yes it has. So putting the ILS in will have put that in.
Virtual 01, Athens. Descent coming up in about 20 minutes.
It'd be quicker than that because we're on 4 times accelerated time.
With 647 heavy, flight level 320.
With 647 heavy, Athens Center, roger.
Athens Center, hello. Diamond, Oscar Echo, Victor Sierra Bravo, on flight level 170.
Diamond,
So,
Oscar Echo, Victor Sierra Bravo, Athens
I
Center,
wonder
roger.
if ACARS will... Yeah, look, sim rate increased. It knows about us increasing sim rate. Violations, sim rate changed. It's taking points off my score. Because ACARS scores your flight and it doesn't like you speeding time up. So let's go back onto the flight plan page. So we're going through MIVOR, then we got top of descent, and we'll start descending down, and we'll keep an eye on it during the descent phase. So it should be fairly straightforward. There's MIVOR just coming. We're within 100 miles of it now. We're still on accelerated time, so we'll turn the time compression off very soon. And arrange for a night landing into... We can't see anything at the moment because we're over the ocean. Night landing into... Yeah, look at it, accelerated time. It's like a police car. Brilliant, isn't it? And here comes the top of descent. So I'll take over radio comms. Should we have, I'll tell the co-pilot now. Hi, I will take over radio communication from now on.
All right, Jonathan, you're in charge of the radios now.
How are we doing on the fuel burn down while we're here, while we got some time to check things before we start descending? So we're looking good. Look, still 6 tons of fuel left when we go into the ILS.
Virtual 001. You're leaving controlled airspace. Contact Oceanic Control. Primary is 119.565. Secondary is 132.335.
I'm going to close some of these things down. We don't need them.
LL 316 Heavy Athens, good evening.
SayIntentions, we've got both, don't we?
Radar on 123.1.
Contacting Oceanic Control. Primary is 119.565. Secondary 132.335. Virtual 001. Thank you. So we switch over. Oceanic Control, Virtual 001 with you. Flight level 410.
201 Oceanic Control, roger, continue at flight level 410.
Okay, so we'll announce we're beginning our descent when we get there. It's on us to do that. It's not up to the controller to tell you to do it. And then we'll start descending. So do we, yeah, we haven't got anything other than 6,000 feet in our immediate future. So we'll target 6,000 feet for our descent. The airplane should automatically slow down at 10,000 feet to 250 knots. We need to find out the barometric pressure at the destination. So let's go and do that in Navigraph. I've still got too many things running, haven't I? Let's go and get rid of Task Manager now. Can we shut anything else down? No. Navigraph. So information for the destination. Weather 1003 hectopascals, 29.62 inches. Wind is still the same as earlier. Look, it's swung round by 10 degrees, but 310 at 6 knots, so it's hardly any wind. And I've turned the acceleration off, so we've got a few minutes until we get to top of descent actually. So should we turn that back up? Now we've had the communication, we'll put that back on auto. So it's going to go 4 times speed. Otherwise we'll be sitting here all evening.
Control, good afternoon, Jasper 6. Jasper 6, 6 aircraft, flight formation, requesting frequency for the center, please, around Alexandria area.
Virtual 01 Oceanic Control, contact center on 127.7.
Contacting center 127.7, virtual 001. Center virtual 001 with you, flight level 410.
Virtual 01 center identified. Good evening.
Okay, let's go and accelerate time again. I'm coming off at time compression when we talk to them in case they give us instruction. So yeah, you will notice we haven't got constraints. So we'll just drop to 6,000 feet once we get to top of descent. $60 miles and counting. We have some work to do in a moment. It gets to be fun after sitting in the cockpit for hours. We actually have something to do. And our poor old co-pilot that's been dutifully calling the radio out all the way through is now sat twiddling her thumbs.
001, whenever you'd like to send, flight level 290.
Descending flight level 290, virtual 001. Here we go. So I'm going to do an open descent just to get it down to that altitude because we are quite high. So we're going down early.
Descend flight level 240.
Descending flight level 240, virtual 001.
Our cruising altitude and have started our approach to Cairo. At this time, I kindly ask everyone to return to their seats, stow away any tables and fasten your seatbelts. Please note that the usage of the lavatories is no longer allowed. Thank you for your cooperation, and we will be landing shortly.
There we go. So the cabin crew have started talking to the passengers. Very cool.
For expected ILS approach, runway 5 right, transition CVO at Cairo.
So we should see the city lights, which is very cool. Let's just make sure then that we've got this all switched off. So time compression is off. It's all good. So we can go and put this back on the en route chart, and we can zoom in a bit on it. We were going to go and double check the radios, weren't we? Navaids, and it's lit up now. Look, 108.7224 degrees. I think that's what it said on here. 108.7224 degrees.
Level 070.
Very good. 3 degree ILS, so it's a normal one. So you will notice the descent profile is above us, meaning we're descending early, basically. So we could, if we wanted to, if we go manage descent, look what happens. The aeroplane will go to 1,000 feet a minute and wait for the normal descent profile. There we go, look, it's holding it back up to 1,000 feet per minute, and it will intercept the steeper descent profile and then start descending harder when it gets there. Let's put we've confirmed the nav radios are good. Flight plan back on. We probably want to go, although it's still early to do it, you could go back to TA mode instead of TARA when you get near approach, because you don't want traffic near you triggering the TCAS to take avoiding action. When, you know, not when you're on finals anyway. So we're down to 33,000 feet and descending. Should have a look outside now. It's not quite so dramatically lit up. Okay. So I fully imagine once we get to the VOR over the top of the airport at 6,000 feet, we will be given vectors. If we don't, I'll ask for them. And we'll go to selected heading mode at that point. So we'll be pulling the... Although, does the A350, it doesn't work the same way, does it, on the FMGC as the A320 and 330? It works slightly differently. So Chris is saying, is that FS2 crew? No, it's SayIntentions doing the crew. I'll put the head tracking on, make sure it's still working, because we'll use it during finals, because it's always quite handy to be able to get some orientation of the aeroplane. Anything going on untoward overhead? I don't think so. It's all looking good. We've got no warnings. So, if there is any traffic in the airspace around Cairo, we will be vectored in amongst it, because this is using SayIntentions traffic injection. But we are in the middle of the night, so I'm not anticipating, and I can't see any nav lights out there. But we'll see what happens. If we go and have a look on little nav map, because that will show us where the airplanes are, if there are any. See, there's somebody there, 32,000 feet, so they're a bit above us. So if we were to go and change this, I was hoping it was going to show them. We're at 30,000. Although they're the same altitude as us, aren't they? Okay, why is that not selecting that? It doesn't like the head tracking. Enter destination data. So if we go to performance and go to the approach phase, we want to go and put in the destination data. So wind at the destination is 310 at 6 knots.
Virtual 001, contact Cairo control on 124.7.
We need to go and talk to the contacting Cairo control 124.7 virtual 001. Cairo control virtual 001 descending to flight level 240 on approach for Cairo.
Virtual 01, Cairo control identified. Good evening.
So let's get on with this while we got some time. 6 knots. 6 knots, enter. Outside air temperature at the destination is 27 degrees centigrade. So click in here, 27 degrees centigrade, press enter. QNH is 1003. 1003. Oh, no, sorry, we have to click in there first. Schoolboy error. Press enter. Minimums. Let's go and have a look. So we can use, what is it? Is it a Cat 3? ILS, blah, 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 blah. I can never read these things. I don't do it all.
Thunder 853. Descend.
So here's the decision altitudes. So we're going to go for
714, Roger, descend and maintain flight level 030.
in brackets is going to be the radio altitude, isn't it? Straight in landing, ILS. So 242 feet. So we'll do that. Transition level is it 060? Let's have a look. No, it's 4,500. Okay, we've put all the data in. We're good to go. So we can go back to the flight plan page. And the sim's just crashed. Or has it? Yep, the sim has vanished. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well. We'll do the rest another night. Sim client disconnected. The sim blew to pieces. Do you want to exit? Yes. Oh well. It was getting late anyway. SayIntentions is better, in my personal opinion, than Beyond ATC. Obviously, we just saw the sim explode, which was not great. But then we have been playing with software all the way down the pipe. So that might have had something to do with it. That's a shame, isn't it? We flew all the way across Europe and we were literally 70 miles out, 60 miles out, and we lost our aeroplane. Or we lost our simulator, I should say. Anyway, everybody that's been watching, thank you ever so much for watching. I wouldn't say that's an Inibuilds thing. That's the first crash I've had with an Inibuilds plane in a very long time. It's just a random one of those things, I think. Yeah, the simulator's vanished. We'll try again another night. And I'll do it on a not so long flight, maybe. So let's put the taskbar to re-show itself. And yeah, so thank you ever so much for watching. So I'm going to reiterate what we were talking about earlier. Go and have a look at Virtual Flight. If you've not done so, Virtual Flight Online. And you can see there's the newsletter, there's the forum, there's the Discord server, there's the Facebook group, there's the Airline, which is free. All of this is free. There's the group flights that happen regularly on the Discord server. There's liveries you can download for the airplanes. There's where I'm looking at Transmitter at the moment. I've got a Patreon to help fund it because obviously it's not free for me. I have to pay for the servers for everything. But the Airline is, yeah, go join and go join the forums and go and introduce yourself. So go to forums.virtualflight.online and go register. And if you do go play with the Airline, well, we'll be waiting to see your name come up on the front page in here. So we'll look forward to seeing your name if you're not already a member of the Airline. Okay. And you can see there's my poor little aeroplane, last reported, went missing over the ocean. So I can't file the PIREP, can I? Because I haven't landed. Oh well. See you all again soon. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll catch you soon. Take care.